Hello, everyone. We have Jay Kachhadia for an interesting conversation today. Jay has done his data science master's from US. He's working with Viacom CBS as a data scientist. And if you look at his LinkedIn profile, which we are going to share in a video description below, he did his BTech in computer engineering from Surat, Gujarat, India. Then he did his data science master from Syracuse University in New York, USA. And now he's working as a data scientist. So he's going to share his experience of pursuing masters in USA. And we are going to cover different topics such as how much money you have to spend for data science masters in US, what is the average living cost, the minimum salary you can expect after completing your studies, visa procedure, OPT and such, difference between data analyst, data engineer, when to start applying for internship. He will also cover a lot of interview tips with us, so that if you are also trying, if you want to pursue your master's in US, you can learn from Jay's experience. And Jay has an interesting Medium blog as well, where he's writing a lot of articles on data science, on his studies, on projects, and so on. So link of that is in video description below. So please make sure you check that out. Jay, thank you very much for spending time for this conversation.
Hey, Dawal, thank you so much for having me. Super excited for this conversation.
Yep. By the way, I've grown a new look now, so I hope people will like it. People must be wondering what it is. It's a magic look, by the way. See, if I do this, it disappears. So other
Thanks
than
to Zoom.
YouTuber, I'm learning some magic tricks.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start the conversation, and we'll jump into our first question, which is, you did your master's in data science in US. When was it? Like, for how long you have been working as a data scientist now?
So it's been around like 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated in May 2020, and straight after that, I started my first full-time job as a data scientist. And so it's been around 8 months.
8 months. All right. So it's like a new job, and you have a fresh experience of pursuing your master. So the first question is, how much money do you have to spend if you want to do masters in data science from USA? Now, I know based on university and location, the cost may vary, but just give us a ballpark number.
Sure. So yeah, as you said, like the cost is kind of dependent on the university, whether you choose a public or a private university. But public schools are comparatively cheaper. Uh, but I would say like the range is like around $40,000 to around $80,000 because private universities are expensive. If you go to an Ivy League, you might end up spending $80,000 on 2 months of tuition, basically. Uh, so for
2 years,
in my
2 years,
case,
like it's like 2 years.
2 years, yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's 2 years, and in my case, I would have spent around $50,000 to $55,000 in tuition if I don't include the scholarships and stuff. So yes, and
Okay.
yes,
And what
that's
is the average living? So that is just your tuition, but your living expense, food, your groceries, everything. Like, what is the average living expense?
got it. So again, it depends on the location of your university. But for me, I used to live in a college town, so I used to pay rent of around like $400. And if you consider another places like New York City or Los Angeles, and you want to have an individual room, then you end up paying like more than $1,000. But generally people like end up sharing rooms.
Hmm.
And groceries, I would say groceries, you will you will be spending maximum of $200. And if you put like $50 of miscellaneous expenses, then the total comes to around 650 per month. So
Okay.
yes.
So 650 per month. So it will be close to around $8,000, right? Plus and minus based on your expenses.
Yes.
Okay.
But I would say if you are doing any like on-campus job or anything, then you would be easily able to suffice the living
Okay.
costs.
Okay. So if you're doing on-campus job, your living cost, which is $7,000 to $8,000, you can pay that off from the job. but still the
Yes.
tuition fees is on you. That will be your death.
Yes, that would be on you.
I
And
see.
obviously, in between, so you can apply for scholarships while you are in the while you are in program, or even before coming to US, like when you get an admit, or like while you apply, you can apply even at that time, like in your SOP, you can mention that you deserve a scholarship and ask for a scholarship, and they are pretty considerate, and you might end up getting one before you come to US.
So
Else,
if you get a scholarship, like can you cover, let's say, 50% of tuition cost from it?
yes. So it varies. So basically, some universities give around like 30%. Some even give like 50%. Some even give, if you have an extraordinary profile, you sometimes you don't have to pay anything for your masters.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
yeah.
Did you get any scholarship?
No. So for me, I didn't get any scholarship in the beginning, but after I came to United States and basically to my university, so I started working as a research assistant,
Mm,
and later on, so basically there are opportunities where you can apply for scholarships in between your master's journey.
mm.
So at that time, I applied and I got like 30% scholarship.
Oh wow. Okay. So out
Yeah.
of your tuition fees, you covered
So
30% of it.
So yes, so basically not for the entire 2 years, but yeah, for some amount of time,
Some amount.
two
Got
semester,
it.
yeah, 2 semesters. So
Got
basically
it.
half for half, yeah.
So if anyone is planning to come here in US for masters, I would say you have to be ready for like that 50 to $80,000 cost, right? So living expense is something you cover from your job, but 50 to 80,000 you should be ready. And then if you get a scholarship, that will be like your bonus. But in a worst case, you have to be kind of ready for that 50 to 80K, correct?
Yes. And then there's another thing. So basically, in the first year of like coming to the US, you can work hard and get a great internship, and then basically you can earn like uh, I guess $15,000 or something for like 2 months, and then basically that is an additional thing.
Oh, wow. So in the first year itself, you can get internship, huh?
Yeah. So after completing your first year, you
Hmm.
can so basically you can apply during like your first year, so that in the next summer, or so if so I was a fall student, so basically in the next summer I am eligible to do, so basically after 2 semesters you will be eligible to do an internship. So at
Got
that
it.
time,
So
yes.
did you get an internship, and what was your experience if you get one?
Yes. So I did get an internship. So basically it's like I would say this because I can't stress enough about it, because you have to start really early while applying for internships. So my school started on 27th August 2018,
Hmm.
and I made my first application on 12th September 2018
Hmm.
for an internship. So you have to start really early, because some companies like start their hiring process very early,
Hmm.
and you'll have to basically compete with. So if we talk about data science, then in the internship positions, you will have to compete with students who are even PhDs. So you'll have to start really early. No matter the positions will keep on coming till the end of
Hmm.
till the end of the academic year.
Hmm.
So yes, but you have to start early. I did receive like two internship offers, and then I chose one of it, which was with Viacom CBS.
Hmm.
At that time it was CBS, but after my internship, Viacom and CBS merged, and it became Viacom CBS. And I got an internship. I got an internship as a data engineering intern. But so it's very important that you talk with your manager about your expectations and stuff like that. So even if you get a role like data engineer, but my major was in data science, and I wanted to be attached to
Hmm.
the work involving machine learning. So
Hmm.
I had set expectations clear with my manager regarding where I want to go.
Hmm.
And that's why I got projects which were related to machine learning. They had data engineering part, but they had a machine learning part as well. So that's why when I got a full-time offer, it was for a data scientist.
All right, good. So the tips are basically start applying early and obviously build good connections on LinkedIn. I think that's equally important, correct?
That is super important. So that is super important. So basically, you have to keep your LinkedIn profile up to date, add experiences, add projects, add skills, add publications, any other volunteering experiences, and mainly add your summary and everything. Like add a good cover picture, so that so that your profile has a personality as you yourself have, and basically connect with individuals, uh, like whom you feel like they can help you get like potential offer, or basically,
Internship or offer, yeah.
internship interviews or anything, or even connect with individuals where from whom you can learn, follow
Hmm.
good people, because even on LinkedIn there's great content coming up. And if
Hmm.
you yeah so I basically I left Facebook. uh, I left Facebook and made LinkedIn my new social networking app.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah. That's good. Like people waste so much time on Facebook and TikTok. If they spend that much time in LinkedIn, it will be really
Yes.
helpful. And when I looked at your LinkedIn profile, Jay, I saw your Medium article. So that got me interested actually. So you were
Uh-huh.
talking about doing some side activity, and which you are doing
Yes.
already, right? By writing those
Yes.
awesome Medium articles. So those are writing articles on Medium is something that improves your written skills, and it kind of shows your social presence as well, right? That you are doing something for the community.
Yes, obviously. And basically, it's more about building your brand identity. That I'm not like an employee. I'm not just an employee of Viacom CBS. I'm Jay Kachhadia. So
Mm.
I should have a identity to my name also,
Yep.
rather than just having like my company title
Yeah,
and my company.
that's really important. So what is the average or minimum salary person can expect after completing the masters? And let's talk about data analyst as well as data scientist role.
Sure, sure. So uh, let's first get into data analyst. So basically, first straight out of college candidates, you should be making around $80,000 a year. Well, that's an average again. So
Mm.
the band would start from around 60, 65, and it will go to, oh, sometimes it can top $100,000 as well.
Mm.
So for a data analyst, I would say it should be averaging around $80,000.
That
And
that is
if,
annual salary.
yeah, that is an annual salary. Yes.
Mm.
And if we talk about data scientist, then I would say straight out of college, you can expect six-figure salary, which is
Mm.
around $100,000. Uh, but all these figures are, I'm talking about the base salaries. Obviously, there are a lot of other perks and bonuses and stuff like that, but these are all base salaries. And it's also a lot of time, it's also dependent on location and the type of roles. So basically, in data scientist as well, there are lot of different type of roles. Like if you can be doing machine learning side of the things, you can be doing just analytics. So based on the type of role, also the salary figures may differ, as well as
Okay.
location plays a really important part,
Yep.
because yeah, if you're living in Bay Area, then you would be obviously getting higher salaries, maybe 120 or even more.
Hmm. So
And yeah.
overall, if you become, let's say, if you get a job as a data scientist, maybe 6 to 8 months, you can cover all your tuition cost.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
technically yes.
Okay. Because sometimes people are worried when they look at this high education cost. They're like, okay, let's say you're from India and like $50,000 is like 35 lakh rupees, and they're like, oh, this is a lot. But once you get a job, it doesn't even take 1 year to cover all of that.
Yes,
So,
yes, you can.
so
Yeah, yeah. And even your even after like you get a job, your living expenses are not going to shoot up like crazy. Like you won't end up spending like $3,000 to $4,000 if you're living
mhm.
alone. Yeah. Yeah, like when you were in college, yeah, you were spending like 650, then now you will be spending at max $2,000, and a rest of it would be savings. So
Okay.
yes.
So let's talk about some visa and immigration process. So once
Mm-hmm.
you, so in US, if you want to work, you have to
Uh-huh.
get H1B visa. So
Yes.
after anyone graduates, like, do they have to get H1B, or let's talk about that OPT option.
Got it, got it. So yes, again, so it's like so data science and computer science majors, most of them are STEM. So basically, science, technology majors. So
Yeah.
so basically you will have uh, OPT, which is optional practical training for 3 years. So basically, initially you get 1 year and then you get an extension of 2 years. So you will have 3 years of optional practical training. Plus, you have a CPT, which you could use for your internship. So there's one other great thing about it. So basically, you can do internship in summer, but you can do internship while you are studying. So basically, I can do internship like 20 hours a week, uh, while also I'm enrolled in 3 courses, which will help me take care of the cost.
Cool. So
And
during this
yes.
3 years of OPT, many times people are worried that, okay, will I get my turn in H1B lottery? But uh, everyone who's listening, remember that during those 3 years of OPT, you don't need to have H1. So you don't have to worry
Yes.
about your H1. But what people typically do is every year they apply for H1B just to try
H1B.
their luck, right? So if they don't get a chance during the lottery process, you get like three turns basically. And I have
Yes.
seen most of the people end up getting H1. They end up staying in US. I have rarely seen anyone who have to go back to India or their country because they did not get H1.
Yes. Yes. That makes a lot of sense. And again, so basically, you have to apply for an OPT before like 3 months of graduation.
Hmm.
So when the period starts, like you have 3 months to graduate, you can apply for an OPT with. So basically, you have to fill your start date of your OPT, which can be like within 2 months of your graduation. So if you already have a job offer lined up, you can directly put that start date. And if you don't have, no problem. So you can put the last date like uh, after like 2 months of your graduation. And then on OPT, you can stay unemployed for like 3 months.
Hmm.
So you get 3 months. So basically, you get 5 months after your graduation to find a job. So
Okay.
yeah, that's
And
the thing.
and people are again worried that, okay, after my graduation, I will have only 5 month time period to find a job. But actually, it's not 5 months, because
Yeah,
even while you are
it's 2 years
studying,
plus 5 months.
2 years plus 5 months, yeah. So you can. So Vijay, when can you start applying for your full time job? Is it in the second year?
Yes, you can start applying similar to internships. Like when you start your second year, you can start applying for full time as well, because a lot of like big tech companies do start hiring for full time early,
Hmm.
as well as the great one of the good option I would say is to basically get a great internship and
Hmm.
convert that into a full time opportunity.
Yep.
So I would say you should fight hard during the first year of your master's
Hmm.
and get a good internship and basically work hard during the internship period and deliver everything like uh, perfect. And so there's a high chance that they will end up offering you full time.
Perfect. So again, people who are worried, don't worry. You have 2 year, more than 2 year period of time to find your job. Now we talked about data science and computer science job. Let's discuss data analyst job. I know few people who did masters in data analyst, and they are having really hard time finding a job because most of the jobs, they don't offer sponsorship.
Yes. So again, it's completely dependent on. So there are a lot of different titles that people can try for. So so for someone who has done like masters in data analytics, they can try for titles like business intelligence engineer. They can try for titles like marketing analyst, data analyst, then even they can try for data scientist analytics, which is
Mm,
again a data scientist who is highly involved in analytics side of things. So there are a lot of options, and for some or the other roles, companies are willing to sponsor candidates.
I see. Okay. But it's important, I guess, to focus on coding skills as well as some machine learning
Uh,
skills, right? You agree with that?
yeah, I would say yeah, that's super important.
Mm,
You will have to be good at coding, uh, and yeah, even for a data analyst, I would say, because I have seen few of my friends who are analysts, but they write Python code to get analysis done on big data,
mm,
which sometimes is not possible on
mm.
Tableau or your Excel.
I see. Do you have any recommendations for good colleges for data science masters?
Yes. So again, this is like mm, you you can, so basically there are a lot of colleges, a lot of good colleges, I would say. More colleges have started offering data science specialization after the recent like pop in the demand.
Mm,
Uh, but you should select colleges based on like research projects by the faculties and variety of coursework. So basically, so that you can be a all rounder rather than just uh, uh, focusing on core
mm,
machine learning.
mm.
So basically, you can build all-round product
Got it. I
and
live in
deliver.
New Jersey. I live in New
Yeah.
Jersey, so I know some good colleges like Rutgers is pretty good, Stevens, NJIT, NYU. These are like pretty good colleges. And if you're
Yes.
talking about Ivy League colleges, you can just Google Ivy League colleges in US. You will find names such as Princeton University, MIT, Stanford,
Yeah.
all those, Cornell. So those are like top colleges. It's very hard to get
Ye-
admission, but if you get an admission,
Yes.
they are like IITs in India, right? You are all set.
Yes.
Um,
So
but do you
similarly
have
for
any
data
other?
science, yes. So similarly for data science, there are great colleges like NYU, then Columbia, then University of Washington, then we have Georgia Tech, and there are a lot of other universities as well.
Okay, perfect. Is there a culture of non-campus placements?
So yes, again, this is a great question because in India we generally have on-campus placements, and we get placed right off our college. But here it's a little bit different. So here you don't have on-campus placements. Here you will have career fairs where you'll be able to network with recruiters and hiring managers, and even there are few companies who might be interviewing on campus, but like very limited. So it completely depends on you, and you will have to like go outside of your comfort zone and apply online, reach out to folks, and build your network, and then get a job or uh, internship.
All right, so that takes us to our next question, which you partially answered, which is how important is networking to get a job?
Yes, again, so networking is really important, I would say, because sometimes you have, so basically if you spend more time on LinkedIn, you will find more people who would inspire you every day, and you can connect with them. And you just don't have to connect with them, but also try to start a good conversation with them, get to know them, and so that when you need something like a referral or things like that,
Yeah.
it's not like that you are straight asking for, hey, how are you, can you refer me? No.
Yeah. Jay, I am getting so many requests, and I work for Bloomberg, and they're like, I found this nice job. Can you refer me for this job? But the problem is, say, I don't mind referring you, but
Yeah.
when I refer you for my Bloomberg job, like my employer expects that I know that person. Now, if you are just randomly sending me, I don't know you, so I don't feel comfortable referring you. And I'm like so busy. I'm getting 1,000 messages on my LinkedIn. You need to think about why should I refer you. For example, Jay, Tomorrow, if there
Yes.
is a job somewhere, and if you ask me to refer you, I will refer you, because you you provided your time for this conversation, right? You help me,
Yeah.
you help the community, you have Medium article. Like you need to have some credibility, as well as you need to, it's a mutual relationship. Like I
Yes.
rarely get a message. I get this message 95% of the time. People are like, okay, can you refer me for the job? But
Yeah.
5% of time people send me a nice message saying that, oh, you're running a YouTube channel, can we help you? Like I have
Mhm.
this Python code base and I have some open issues. I rarely see people helping me. if
Yeah.
you if you help me with like some one or two minor issues, it could be very minor work, and tomorrow if you need a referral, I will say yeah, because now I know you, you have worked on my code, I have reviewed your code, I know you. So people
Yeah.
need to understand this, that they need to help others before they expect others to help them.
Yes, yes. And also, I would like to add that like building your network on LinkedIn is kind of a difficult task, because a lot of times people won't accept your request, or even won't answer to your messages. Obviously, they are busy and they might be getting a lot of similar messages.
Hmm.
And so you just have to be patient and keep on trying. So that's a suggestion I would like to give. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Now, how do you prepare yourself for the US once you have an admit?
All right. So yes. So what I would say is you should brush up your, if you are a computer science major like in India, then after you get an admit, you should start brushing up your skills like coding skills and machine learning skills and data science skills and everything. You should start brushing up your skills, take up introductory courses beforehand, coming before coming to the US. Like start like do a machine learning course. You can do the intro to ML course by Andrew Ng, or Yasir Abu Mustafa's learning from data course, which are basically, both of them are great courses to start off in machine learning. Other than that, what I would suggest is, while you are in India, you should try reaching out to the professors in your university where you will be going, and try to ask them for like your interest in their research project, and you would like to work with them. So this is how I got research assistantship before even coming to US.
Hmm.
So what I did was, I think so I came to the US in August, but I sent over mails to a couple of professors, uh, asking about my interest in the projects, and that was during May, and I got a few replies. And then when I came to the US, they set up an interview, and again at that time I got like three offers for research assistantship, and then I chose the best one. So it's, yeah, that's how you should prepare before coming to
Okay.
United States, so that you are all set for your MS journey. And I do have a blog on research assistantships, like how you should apply, and before coming to United States, what are the steps you should take.
So we will put a link of that particular post here. Okay. So
Mhm.
maybe after the conversation, you can send me the link and I can put it in a video
Sure,
description.
sure.
Now, I have made a video on this topic, by the way, explaining difference between data scientist, data analyst, data engineer, and ML engineer, because people are confused between these four different roles. So I have already made a video on that, which I will put a link. But if you want to quickly summarize the difference, Jay, maybe you can do it now.
Yeah, I can give you one-liners for each of them. I
Sure.
think yes. So basically, a data scientist would be someone who is a pro at interpreting data,
Hmm.
but he also should have coding skills and mathematical modeling expertise. Whereas data analysts sift through the data and seek to identify trends. Whereas a machine learning engineer takes a prototype model from a data scientist and makes it work in a production environment at scale. And data, when we talk about data engineers, they are generally in charge of delivery, storage, and processing of data. But again, like when we are talking about all these roles, there is a lot of overlap seen in the industry. You actually can't define a role
Mm,
exactly, because when we talk about like my role as a data scientist, I am doing a job of so basically I am doing an end-to-end job. So I'm doing a job of a data scientist as well as an machine learning engineer. So
mm,
I am the one who is basically doing the thought process of how we should do the modeling and how we should build new models as well as
mm.
productionalizing them.
Got it. And how does the hiring process looks like, both for
Uh,
internship as well as like you're getting full time?
yes. So it's also dependent on the role that the process would be for, and also there will be different rounds. So let's talk about like each of the rounds one by one. So there can be resume based rounds. So typically those will have questions on your projects and experiences.
Mm,
There can be modeling rounds where
mm,
they will be testing your ability to build and take a decision on the choice
mm,
of machine learning model based on situational variables like training data,
mm,
feature set, test data, or computing power, prediction time, training time,
mm,
etc.
mm, mm,
Then there could be system design rounds as well. So they can test you on building the entire pipeline from extraction to pre-processing to prediction and delivering insights. As well as there could be rounds to test your database skills, basically questions on SQL and concepts of relational databases and NoSQL databases, as well as if you are applying for like an ML engineer, data engineer, or a data scientist role, you can expect a live coding round as well. So you should, yeah, and these includes concepts of recursion, backtracking, divide and conquer, greedy, and yeah, I think yeah,
I
that
see.
that
So
would be some.
they will give you a problem and you have to write code basically.
Yes, you. So basically, you'll be sharing your screen and writing the code, and there'll be continuously a to and fro process of your. So basically, in live coding interviews, the best suggestion I would give is like think think out loud to your
Hmm.
interviewer so that they know your thought process rather than just writing code.
Yeah, that's very
Because
important.
interviews, like in interviewers are friendly as well. They are also willing to help you and give you hints. So if you don't let your thought process out, how will they know that you are stuck and where you are stuck?
All right. And do you have any resume tips that you want to share? And also, is cover letter necessary?
Yes. So building your resume and cover letter is a iterative process. So basically, you will be creating your resume firstly, and then your cover letter as well, and then you'll be applying, and then you have to change your resume and cover letter till the time you start getting calls, till the time you know that it's working now. So in your resume, you should add sections like education, experience, projects, publications, community engagements, and skills, obviously. And
Mm,
for cover letters, I would say there are two types of cover letters. One is story based, and the other is skills based. And you could go either way. Because both of them are kind of used in the industry. So what I would recommend is basically create a master resume and a master cover letter, and then change a few things according to the positions you are applying, so that your resume and cover letter are catered to the position.
mm.
And yeah, that would be yeah. And yes, as I said, like it's an iterative process, so you have to work on and on and on.
Perfect. That's a very good advice. Someone asked me this interesting question. Let's say someone finishes bachelor's from India or whatever country they're from. Should they get some experience and then do masters, or directly after bachelor's they should come for the masters?
Yes, this is a great question. So uh, what I would say is if you are taking an experience, then you have to make sure it's relevant and it's not like 1 year of experience, because that won't potentially add a substantial value to your profile. It should be like 2 or 3 years, so that you would have worked on a few projects at least. Because if you are working like 1 year, yeah, even though you would relate that when you join a new company, uh 6 months goes into adjusting and
Yeah,
learning the
yeah,
processes, and
that's true.
until the time you leave the company, you wouldn't have basically delivered any
Hmm.
great results and stuff like that. So uh, so they should like get like 2 to 3 years of experience, I would say.
Hmm.
But the way it's actually, so what I see it is like, rather than getting experience, come for masters directly.
Hmm.
It would be comparatively tough while
Hmm.
you are looking for jobs, but you will save years of your life. So
Hmm.
and you will be at a far more better position and making a far more better money
Hmm.
if you would compare both the timelines.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So that's a great piece of advice. I think if you have 2 years of experience and if it is relevant, you mentioned really right. Let's say
relevant.
2 years of experience is in QA, software testing, and then you come for data science master study,
Yeah,
then there is not
yeah,
much
it's not.
relevance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If
But if you
it is
are,
it is if you are a software engineer, then it can be somewhat relevant. So basically, if I have a software engineer experience,
hmm,
then 2 years of experience, and then I come for, and it is somewhat related to machine learning or data science, and then I come for masters. And when I am targeting profiles like a machine learning engineer or a data
hmm,
engineer, that would be super helpful.
got it. Now you talk a lot about showcasable projects in your blog. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So, as simple as it may sound, but it's very different from practicing data science for your side projects or academic projects
Hmm,
than how they do it in industry. Obviously, it requires a lot more in terms of like code complexity, code organization, data science project management, and stuff like that. So, you should try to take your classroom projects or side projects to the next level by deploying those, creating pipelines for those. Or
hmm,
so basically, if I'm making a machine learning model, so what I would do is I'll take a data set from Kaggle and do some EDA and then build a model and get the accuracy, and so basically hyper tune the model and get an accuracy. And what I would write in my resume is 3 lines uh, displaying those
hmm,
things. But if you give that model a UI and a
hmm,
backend and deploy it on cloud, which will
hmm,
make you a all-rounder, as well as you can share the link of the project on your resume,
hmm.
uh, which will talk a lot more to a recruiter or an interviewer. They could see it, and it would be a lot more than 3 lines on your resume.
Perfect. And by the way, I have a complete data science project list, data analyst project list. So where I build, for example, I did this project on celebrity face classification as well as Bangalore home price prediction. And it was end-to-end project. I built a website, Python Flask server, model, database, everything. So I'm going to put a link of
That's
that playlist and people can refer to it. I have put some Power BI projects as well, which I did with my friend who is a data analyst manager working for a big company. So we have done some corporate style like end-to-end projects. So if anyone is looking for an example, refer to that playlist. The link is in video description below. You can take those projects and customize it. Maybe for sports celebrity classification project, for example, you can take pictures of some spiritual gurus and do a classification on spiritual gurus or some movie stars. So you can always customize your project. So just don't put like Titanic data, like classification data set in your resume, right?
Yeah, I think 50% of the resumes that a company gets for a machine learning or a data scientist role would have a Titanic project.
And then they say, okay, why am I not getting interview call? Well, the reason is obvious.
Yes, yes.
All
Again,
right.
I would also like to highlight few things. Uh, so when you are applying for job, so if you are doing a master's in computer science and you are applying for software engineer jobs, then uh, you will get calls, you'll get a lot of calls, but it's
Mm.
different when you are doing a master's in data science. So if you're doing a master's in data science and you're applying for data scientist, data engineer, and machine learning engineer roles, the application to call ratio is very low.
Mm.
So you will get very less calls and you will have to convert those calls. So basically, yes. So that's why I would say you have to focus a lot on building a great resume and a great cover letter,
Mm.
because that's what will get you calls. And because you will be competing technically with candidates who are PhDs, because
Ah.
PhDs and have a lot of work experience as well. So
I've seen,
uh,
especially for machine learning jobs and sometimes, data scientist jobs in big companies, they prefer PhDs actually. So the competition is
yes.
really tough there.
Yes. Yeah, and that's I think that's one thing that can set you apart. As Dhaval, you said, you have a great list of YouTube videos
Mm.
to make end-to-end projects, and that can set you apart from others.
Yep. And how difficult is it to get a job as a data scientist being a fresher?
Yes. So as I said, like it's different. Like if you are a CS major, you'll get a lot of calls for roles. But again, like it will be a difficult process. But you have that's why I said you should start early,
Mm.
because the process is kind of fuzzy right now,
Mm.
because
Mm.
companies are not sure about what kind of person they want.
Mm.
If you see data scientist job descriptions, it would be a description of entire team.
Mm.
So companies are not sure of what they want. So
Mm.
and even recruiters. So you would generally see, like for data scientist roles, generally they ask for like 5 years of experience, and you should have software engineering experience. You should have all kinds of experience. So
Got
it
it.
would be difficult. So if you start the process early, then you will get some calls, and then you'll get some feedback on what are the areas you need to improve on
Hmm.
in the interview process. And yeah, that's how you'll get better at it.
Perfect. And do you have any other tips you want to share which can prepare you for your job while you are doing studies? So we already covered helping professors in their research assistant in their research projects,
Mhm.
building a strong network on LinkedIn. Other than that, do you have any other tips?
Yes. So as we discussed, other than that, there won't be much of other tips, but
Hmm.
like building projects that are showcasable.
Hmm.
I would stress a lot on that, because even so when it was a first day of my internship, and my manager just shot an email, like introductory email for me to the like entire parent org, and he wrote that I write for towards data science, and everyone was really impressed. And
So doing those kind of
so
side
doing
activity.
side gigs will also help you, like
Got it.
writing a blog, sharing your knowledge on LinkedIn, basically. Yeah, and you don't have to be shy.
Exactly. Or appearing for this kind of conversation, right? Like you can
Yeah.
now say, I've done this conversation on this YouTube channel. There are various ways, like there are Discord servers, there are Facebook groups where you can,
Yes.
when you can answer people's question. There is
Yes.
Quora. There are numerous ways, like guys and girls, like you need to be open-minded and be ready to help people without maintaining a scorecard. People always think, okay, what am I getting, right? By doing this
Yes.
the world is very different. You have to get into that give back mode, and the law of reciprocity always works. It will come back to you,
Yes,
right?
that completely makes sense, Dawal. And one more thing I would recommend is going to conferences.
Hmm.
Going to conferences while you are in your masters, because universities generally have this funding opportunities. They can fund your visit to a conference or something like that. So every year, PyCon happens around March, I feel, and it's a great place to meet a lot of similar-minded folks, as well as folks from great companies, and
Hmm.
network, and build your network there as well.
Yep,
So
that's a great advice. So one last question. uh, after COVID came in, many people are now worried that, okay, jobs are going down. If I go for masters, will I get a job? Should I postpone for my master? Should I postpone my master for, let's say, 2 years and then go to US? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think there are enough jobs for people, and do you think if someone is planning to postpone their studies, do you think that makes sense?
So I would say I don't think so. You should postpone your master's plan because the figures you see in newspaper are not for tech at all.
Mm-hmm.
They are for overall thing. And as you know, like companies have started recognizing potential in basically employees working from home because they are it is kind of helping them cost a lot of cut a lot of their cost as well, and they are getting similar to like in office results from employees. And so the job market is getting back up, and it's I think it's in good shape right now.
I'm hearing, in fact, that the jobs in tech industry are growing. I have friends working for Google, Apple, and those big companies are hiring big time. The hiring has increased actually. So I personally
Yes.
see a reverse impact. So if you're planning for masters, I don't think you should postpone, because guess what? You come in 2021, you will be looking for a job in 2023. So you're still talking about 2 years. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, don't postpone your plans. I think, well,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be all right. All right, Jay. Thank you very much for this conversation. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it. Keep fighting.
Yep, that's a great statement actually. Keep fighting, be hopeful. We live in a world of opportunity. There are opportunities everywhere. And look, if you're planning for masters and if you don't get masters, let's say you have to stay in your home country. Let's say it's in India. India also has so many job opportunities. So opportunities are everywhere. So
Yes.
don't get disheartened due to some reason. Let's say your visa get rejected, etc. Don't get disheartened. There are opportunities. You have to keep on fighting, as Jay rightly suggested. We are going to provide a link of Jay's awesome blog in video description below. Jay, is it okay if I share your LinkedIn profile as well?
Yeah, yeah, it's completely fine. Thank you
Perfect.
so much,
So,
Dawal. It was great talking to you.
yep, same here. Thank you very much, Jay.